My name is Tyler Klaucke, and I am a student at Rising Tide Charter School, and I am an intern here at Plymouth Rock TV. And this is Mr. Senegal. He is my theater teacher. So, Mr. Senegal, how long have you been working at Rising Tide being a theater teacher?
This year is my 8th year.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going into college next year, and I'm going into media studies. Mm-hmm. So I'm here to learn about every type of media, which includes theater. Mm-hmm. So first, I want to ask you, what got you into theater? Like, what drove you to go through a career path in theater?
So I always knew I wanted to do something in entertainment from a very young age. I was always the kid that was getting my cousins and neighbors to put on plays in our backyard. So I'd have like storybooks and like, all right, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. So even at a very young age, I knew I wanted to do something in entertainment. I didn't know specifically about theater at a young age. I kind of thought like TV was the way, because that was the only like exposure I had had to entertainment was TV and radio. And so I just thought, oh, I want to be a TV star, until I got much older and then found the specific media of theater.
And what did you like about theater opposed from TV or movies? Yeah,
so for me, when I work in storytelling, I prefer live. Mm-hmm. Live action, in the moment, things happening on the spot. And throughout like my time, I went to college and I minored in theater, and then I auditioned around, and I even got to do a short film. And I learned pretty quickly that film wasn't for me, because it was, in my opinion, it was a lot of hurry up and wait. Mm-hmm. And so that idea of you like rush yourself to do the shot, and then you have to do the shot 10 times, and it has to be consistent every single take.
He doesn't mean that.
But for me and my brain, it was just like, and my experience was in theater at the time, and it was just like, wait, what do you mean I have to do this again? I just gave everything that one time, and having to like do it again and produce that amount of emotion 10 times in a row. Yeah. I was just like, this is exhausting. And so at that time, I was just like, oh, okay. It's being on camera is very different than acting on stage live. Because, like acting live on stage, it's one shot and then you're done. Yeah. Whether you make a mistake or don't, it's done. And so that's how in my brain it kind of switched to like, okay, I prefer this one. I still love camera work, film, television, but if there's like a preference, I prefer like the live.
Mm-hmm. And it makes you happy, because like you say joke, audience laugh. You say joke on TV, silence.
Yeah, you get that instant feedback from the audience, and you're both breathing the same air at the same time. So it's just a different experience.
Mm-hmm. And I know before Rising Tide, you did a whole bunch of plays. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite one you've done before Rising Tide?
I think the one that was most impactful for me was A Raisin in the Sun. I was in a production of that. It was a regional production in Dallas, Texas. And I was studying musical theater at one of the universities there at the time. And I got cast in that show. And it was really special to see this classic American play performed, but to see the audience's reaction, back to what you said, to this really integral piece of theater done in a modern time. And so just having that experience of doing a big show in front of a live audience, it stays with me. And that's one of the shows where when I was done, every night I would come home and just pass out. because I had given like everything when I was on stage. And so that's one that like stays with me.
So like how many times would you do it? Like would you do it every other day or every day, not every night?
So this particular production went 2 weeks, and it was 5 shows in the week. And so we only had the weekend off. So yeah, and I was still like in college at the time. So I would have classes, and then I would have to go to Dallas and then like put on the show with like these professionals, because I was still a student at the time. And it was draining, but like so worth it.
That does sound a lot of fun. So how many plays do you think you've done like since that?
Since that one, I've acted in probably 8 shows. And I've done more musical theater. I've been cast in more musical theater than straight plays, as they call them, or just theater. But my focus kind of switched maybe 10 years ago. And I started thinking I wanted to be more behind the scenes and switch to a career in directing.
So what drove you to want to go teach at Rising Tide opposed from like bigger schools, or some might say better school?
No, not better schools. Me working at Rising Tide is actually kind of happenstance. So I finished my graduate school work at Emerson College in Boston, and I applied for 3 theater position jobs in like the Boston area, and got beaten out by my classmates from Emerson. And then I actually left and went back to Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana originally. And I was at home looking for a job in Louisiana, in Texas. And then I got a call from my professor at Emerson College, who said, he was like, hey, did you find a job? And I was like, no. He was like, so there's a school in Plymouth. Do you want to come back to Massachusetts and apply for a job? And I was like, okay. What's the school? He's like, I'll give you the information. It's a really cool school, and they have a great theater program. And he was like, they're really just getting things started, but I think it would be a good opportunity for you. And I trusted my professor at the time. And so I was like, okay, I'll check it out, and found Rising Tide. So it was actually like just a lining of the stars at the time.
Was it hard leaving your home to go work somewhere so far away?
No, only because I had literally just gone back home.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I didn't have a job. Because I had been living in Boston for 2 years when I was in the grad program. And prior to that, I was living and working in Connecticut, where I taught and began a theater program at a middle school there. And so I've been away from home for a little bit.
And since then, what were the challenges of like teaching to students rather than actually performing in front of an audience? Would you say you'd rather go back to like performing, or would you say you enjoy what you do right now?
Oh, I don't just enjoy what I do, I love what I do. For me, teaching, like I said, I mentioned earlier, my brain started switching to, I actually want to be behind stage in the creative part of it. And so teaching is an outlet for the director part of my brain. Like, I enjoy having young people learn about this art, an art form that I'm so passionate about. And so teaching is a really good way to share and communicate my passion. And so, yeah, as a performer, I get the itch to perform like maybe every 3 or 4 years. And I'll go, oh, do I want to act? And it'll come back every now and then. I'll like audition for something, but I prefer directing and working with young people right now.
Yeah, I also enjoy the creative process. I find it's really fun to be in front of people, in front of people and perform. You get like the laughs, you get like the audience reaction, but it's also really fun to know that people like the thing that you worked so hard to get going.
Yeah.
Do you have like a dream play you'd like to direct or work on?
A dream play. I don't know. I don't know that I have a dream play in mind, because the way I pick shows, especially at Rising Tide, there are a lot of things that I have to consider, like the actual school population, the number of people that are there. And so when I pick shows that have some kind of message, have a theme that I'm working with that year, but also I go with what would suit the learning of the students the best. And so a dream project, I would love, you guys talk about it, a lot of people at Rising Tide talk about it a lot. I would love to direct a school version of Shrek, the musical.
We watched that. We watched that 1 year in our class.
Yeah, and so because of all of the technical elements that it would involve, but that's also one of the big challenges is like the prosthetics, the makeup, the hair, the big set pieces. So I would love to do Shrek the musical at Rising Tide, because I think it would be a fun show. You guys learn from it in your classes. And it's a really cool story at its heart about looking at the past and looking at how stories are written and challenging that and stepping back and saying, you know what? Sometimes maybe we should step back and see about changing up the heroes and the villains, because fairy tales need to be updated sometimes. And so I like that message of let's find a way to include everyone in storytelling.
Let's say you're casting. Who'd you cast me as in Shrek right now?
Farquaad.
Farquaad, okay.
Yep, right away.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that's what I was going to say. I'd say I'd want to be Farquaad. That sounds like a really fun role.
Farquaad, and also, as you know, Farquaad has to be tall.
Are you saying I'm not tall?
No, you have to be, so when you're on your knees,
Oh.
you're still at a height.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying I am tall. Thank you, Mr. Senegal.
Well, it's just a statement of fact.
So, Shrek is a musical, and you were talking to me about how you love musicals. What would you say is better than, what do you think makes musicals better than like straight plays?
I don't know if they're better. They're just more engaging in general to audiences and in the rehearsal process. It is a lot of moving parts, and it is chaotic, and it's a lot of work. But when it gets put together, it's magical. Like, it's really cool to see something go from, and you've been in the situation where you're sitting around a table just reading a script, to seeing people take like their final bow after learning all this singing, acting, and dancing, because it takes a lot of work,
It does.
as you know, to sing, act, and dance. And it's just different skills that in a straight play, it's not just acting, but it's just that one, where musicals require a heavier lift. So,
Are you a good singer? Would you like to give everyone an example?
I'm not warmed up, but I'm an okay singer. I
singer.
can sing. I can sing, and I can sing when I learn the music. But I wouldn't say like I'm a singer.
I'd say I'm more of a shower singer.
Okay.
You know, I'm pretty good in there, I hear.
Yeah, you hear in the acoustics. Yeah.
Makes them much better. So, I know you're directing a play coming up.
Yeah.
What is the play you're directing called?
So we actually just cast it's our second musical at Rising Tide, so it's called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. And that show originally came out in the early 2000s, and if you look up the original cast, there are a lot of some big names now that this was their Broadway debut. So yeah, it's a really fun show.
So I know you've cast a whole bunch of newcomers. I remember when I was in 9th grade, I was scared. I was like, I want to do a play. I think that would be a lot of fun. I remember coming in my first day for like the tryouts. I was really nervous.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really awesome. It taught me a lot of life skills and made me want to do it. So, like, what would you give advice to anybody who is going into the industry?
Trust yourself, have fun, and try. Just try. Just give it a shot. You don't want to live in regret. One thing I wish is that I performed more when I was younger. I performed, like I mentioned to you, from when I was in in elementary school. I was in all of the school plays in elementary school. But then when I got to middle school, started feeling awkward, more self-conscious, didn't really want people to like look at me. And so I actually pushed down that part of me so I could just be normal and just like, nope, I'm gonna be like everybody else. And so middle school and high school, I didn't do any theater at all, like none. And then I didn't rediscover my joy and passion for theater until like I accidentally signed up for the first acting class in college. And I was a sophomore. I thought I was signing up for theater or drama appreciation class where you just go in, you kind of learn the history of theater, you go and you see a couple of plays and you get like your credit for an elective. I thought I was signing up for that class and I accidentally signed up for the first acting class. And, but I stayed in because I was like, oh, wait, but I used to do this. This is kind of cool. Let me see it through. And after my first monologue, I was like hooked. I was like back in. So yeah, it's something that has been a part of me that like I pushed away, and I'm glad it like came back to me.
That's actually crazy. Like, imagine you never took that class. Imagine we would not be here right now.
No.
Like that simple mistake. Let's hope I make those mistakes someday in college.
Yeah.
That would. What was like the first like middle school play you did? Do you remember what that was?
I didn't do any in middle school, but my first elementary school. Yeah, my first elementary school play. It was, I don't remember the name of it, but it was kind of like a Christmassy holiday, and I was like the star that like people followed to like the manger in like the nativity scene, but like the star was like going to like class and he would like get in trouble for being like too bright and too loud. And then, but like by the end they were like, you're the star, kind of like a Rudolph situation where that star was just like, oh, you're the brightest of them all, please light the way.
It was foreshadowing because you being a star.
There you go. And so yeah, that was the first play I recall being in, and I was in third grade. And I still don't know why the teacher asked me to do it, probably because I wouldn't stop talking in class, but, and she's probably like, this kid won't shut up. Here, read this and we'll see if you can do it.
That was me too. I was that kid.
Yeah, and that's how that goes though. Like, it's that part of you, that spark that, and it takes like nurturing to like have that. And so that's why I say to your other question, just try it. You don't want to live in regret, because if I didn't, like you mentioned, who knows where I would be. I'm sure I would be fine, but I don't know if I would be passionate in this. I wouldn't be passionate about my work. So, yeah.
So everyone has their thing, and you found your thing.
I found the thing.
And what would you say is your favorite, like not like favorite one you've directed, not been in?
I'd say to date, I think my first show at Rising Tide was, I think, my strongest show. It was 12 Angry Women. So it's a version of 12 Angry Men that it was, they wrote it with all female characters. And it was my first show at the school, and the school was brand new. We had just moved in, and we actually did that show in the round. And so it was like a boxing theme. And so like all the audience sat around the stage that was like in the middle of the atrium, and it was just really fun and interesting. And that cast, like they were on it, and they had like a really good time. So I think of the shows like I've directed with young people, that my first show at Rising Tide was like the one that like sticks out. It was like, wow, that was awesome. And it made me like want to keep doing more.
You know, one problem at Rising Tide I find is that teachers don't stay as long. What made you want to stay so long? You've stayed, like, I've known you for all 4 years, and I know other students, like Mr. Nilosek's son, he's known you.
Yeah.
What made you want to stay for so long?
The work, actually teaching theater. Like, I genuinely enjoy coming to work and teaching you guys what I teach you. During the day and after school is a bonus, like being able to put on the shows after school. But even during the day, I love teaching 9th graders, having them like get that feeling and understanding of what theater is. And then when you guys come back in 11th and 12th grade, we can play around again in all of those lessons that we learned when you were in 9th grade and expand on that. Like, I genuinely love and enjoy my job. So that's the thing that keeps me coming back to Rising Tide, because I don't know if I could get the kind of arrangement I have right now anywhere else.
Yeah, a lot of people in this world don't have jobs that they actually enjoy. Some people wake up, work, go to sleep, eat. It's so few people actually enjoy what they do. And I think it's fantastic that you found your passion.
Yeah, it's good.
And we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
Is there any last advice you'd like to give anyone who is thinking about going to theater and practicing that medium?
I would say research. Definitely get in touch with people that are doing it. Pick their brains, see what they like about it, see what they find engaging, and then go for it. Just try, and if you don't like it, at least you would have had like an awesome experience that's memorable. Like, everyone always remembers, if you've ever done a play, you remember the first play that you did, right? And so I would just say, try it. Just try it, and if you don't absolutely fall in love with it, you will definitely be able to appreciate it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Senegal, for coming out.
Yeah,
It's a
thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
All right.